Cindy Lou Who, she knew a thing or two. She really knew how to melt the Grinch's heart. She's the unlikely hero in my story. And so that's what I'll be telling, the Grinch. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. Now, please don't ask me why. No one quite knows the reason, but the Grinch hated this whole thing, this whole Christmas season. Now, it may be his head wasn't screwed on just right, or it may be that his shoes were just a little too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all was that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's. He thought about how in the morning they would rush for their toys and their stockings and doodads, and they would make the noise. Oh, the noise, 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 noise! And he thought about later in the evening how they would feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef, which is something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 feast. Christmas is coming. It's practically here, the Grinch thought, his fingers nervously drumming. I must stop Christmas from coming. But how? Why, for 40 years I've put up with it now. But then the Grinch got an idea. The Grinch got a wonderful idea. The Grinch got an awfully wonderful idea. And so he rushed back into his cave, and he sewed up a quick Santa Claus hat and coat. With his hat and coat, I'll look just like Saint Nick, he said. This would do the trick. And so he got his sleigh, and he thought, all I need is a reindeer to pull my sleigh. And so he looked around, but reindeers were scarce. So he got a reindeer horn, and he tied it on his little dog. This dog will be the one to guide my sleigh tonight. And so he went into his sleigh, and he went down Mount Crumpet, ready to steal the Who's Christmas. House 1, the Grinch cackled when he went down the chimney. He got stuck for a minute or two, but if Santa Claus could do it, so could the Grinch, and he'd steal from the Who's. Now he took everything he could, their stockings, their roast beef, all their presents. But then last was the tree. As he went to stuff the tree up the chimney, he turned around and saw a little Who girl, about 2 or 3. Santa Claus, she asked, why are you taking our tree? The Grinch thought up a quick Grinchy lie. Oh, why, my little tot, he said. There's a light that won't light up on one side, and so I'll take it back to my workshop, and once I've fixed it, bring it back here. And she was so grateful for this. She thought that everyone deserved to be happy and that Santa Claus was helping her. So he went into their kitchen, got her a warm glass of milk, and took her back upstairs to bed. He went through every single Who house that night and stole everything he could. Now he was pushing the sleigh up Mount Crumpet so he could dump it all. He was thinking about how the Who's would wake up and they would see nothing and they would wail and cry. This is a sound I must hear. So he put his hand to his ear and he heard a sound, but it wasn't the sound he thought. Every Who down in Whoville was gathering round, hand in hand, and would start to sing. They would sing, and they would sing, and they would sing, 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 sing. The Grinch was confused about this whole thing. Why aren't they upset? Don't they see I've stolen their Christmas? So he stood there in the snow, puzzling, his fur cold, and he puzzled and looked down on Whoville. Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas is just a little bit more. And so the Who say that the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day. And he rode down Mount Crumpet and he gave everything back. And the Grinch himself carved the roast beast that night.